Hello students, very good morning. Welcome back to the video lecture series. Here we are discussing the carbon group elements, and in yesterday's lecture we have seen the silicates and their classification as well as with examples. The structures of all these different 6 to 7 types of silicates we have also seen. The general structure of all these silicates is having a framework of silicon and oxygen atoms. So, silicon and oxygen atoms, when they are tetrahedrally arranged along a regular tetrahedron, okay, such as SiO4 4 minus, SiO4 4 minus. The central atom silicon is tetrahedrally bonded to the 4 oxygen atoms, and each oxygen atom is having a negative charge. So, SiO4 4 minus, this is the a specific or simple basic unit of silicate, and hence depending on the repetition and pattern of all these silicates, we have classified these silicates into different types. Now, we can imagine these silicates how they can be arranged. Okay, I will show you. So, if these 4 chalks can be considered to be the 4 SiO bonds, then the structure could be like this. Okay. So, in my 3 fingers I have 4 chalks, okay, and at this center the silicon atom is situated, okay, and this is first SiO bond, second, third, and this is fourth. Okay. So, all 4 bonds are pointed at the corners of a regular tetrahedron. So, this is the basic fundamental structure of SiO4 unit which is present in silicates. Okay. So, this is silicon. At the 4 corners of this there is one oxygen atom having each one negative charge. Okay. So, this is the basic unit of silicates. Now, today we are going to see study about the aluminosilicates. Okay. So, what are these aluminosilicates? See, we have seen the types or classification of these silicates, and in that the last type or last class of that silicates was 3-dimensional silicates, and hence these 3-dimensional silicates are nothing but aluminosilicates, in which one of the silicon atom in these 3-dimensional silicates is replaced by the aluminum atom. Okay. So, one of the silicon atom is replaced by aluminum atom, then the resulting silicates are known as aluminosilicates. These aluminosilicates generally consisting of silicon, oxygen along with aluminum atom. Okay. But we know that the stable oxidation state of aluminum is +3. Okay. So, oxidation state of aluminum is +3. We know that aluminum is always existing in +3 oxidation state, such as Al3 plus. Al3 plus is the one of the stable cation of aluminum. Okay. And hence, but silicon is existing in +4 oxidation state. So, this is the stable oxidation state of silicon. Okay. So, this is a group valency of carbon group elements, that is +4. Now, aluminum is a 13 group element. Okay. So, that is why it is a group valency is +3. When we replace one of the silicon atom by one aluminum atom, it renders overall one negative charge. It renders overall one negative charge to that silicate, okay, which is known as aluminosilicate. Okay. So, that is why this is the resulting charge which is rendered by the aluminum atom if we replace that aluminum atom, if we replace the silicon atom by a aluminum atom. Okay. So, this is the reason why aluminosilicates are having a overall negative charge if they are not counterbalanced by any other cation such as H plus, then Li plus, then Na plus, or calcium 1/2 calcium 2 plus. Okay. So as there is one negative charge is remain, so that can be counterbalanced by the addition of either H plus or Li plus or Na plus or 1/2 calcium 2 plus. Okay. So one positively charged cation should be there to counterbalance that negatively charged silicates, aluminosilicates. Okay. And hence if it is this case, then we can say that aluminosilicates are neutral in nature. Okay. So now the types or classes of these aluminosilicates are mainly two classes or two types, and these are three-dimensional or layered aluminosilicates, and second one is molecular sieves. Okay. Let us see, let us start or study the first type, that is layered or 3D aluminosilicates, three-dimensional aluminosilicates. These three-dimensional aluminosilicates are consisting of silicon, oxygen and aluminum, as the main elements or the important constituents of these three-dimensional aluminosilicates. Okay. Actually, in layered aluminosilicates, the repeating unit consisting of silicate layers. Okay. So the silicate layers are repeatedly present in all over 3 dimensions, that is in x, y and z. Okay. So all these in all 3 dimensions. Okay. So this is, let us say, x, this is y, and this is, let us say, z. Okay. So in all 3 dimensions these repeating silicate layers are present in aluminosilicates. Okay. Now the best example we are going to see here, some of the examples of these 3D aluminosilicates. The best example is mineral kaolinite. Mineral kaolinite is also known as China clay. Friends, we are very familiar with this China clay. Okay. Most of the things that we are using in our kitchen and in grocery, okay, that are made of this China clay. We are know that what is this material China clay. Okay. In our vernacular language we also call it as a chini mati or chini mitti. Okay. We also call it as a chini mitti, okay, or China clay. Okay. Clay is nothing but one of the type of mineral that is found in earth crust. Okay. The formula of this China clay is Al2OH4 Si2O5. Here this is the class of aluminosilicates. Which has aluminum 3 plus. Sorry, the China clay having the formula Al2OH4 Si2O5. Okay. Actually, what is the speciality of this China clay? This China clay structure or the structure of this China clay mineral have silicate layers, and the silicate layers are neutral in nature. And they are held together by weak hydrogen bonds. Okay. So weak hydrogen bonds is present. Weak hydrogen bonds are present between these silicate layers. Okay. Silicate layers in 3 dimensions, you can imagine. And due to these weak hydrogen bonds, when water comes in contact with this China clay, these weak hydrogen bonds may get broken and water can penetrate or water can enters into these layers of this China clay. Okay. 3-dimensional China clay, in these structures water molecules can penetrate or water molecule can enters. Okay. So that's why this is the reason why we can make different things of grocery or cutlery material of the China clay. Okay. So we have different things that is pickle jar or the saucers or the cups that we are using in kitchen. Okay, these are all household materials. Okay, so that's why this is the reason why we can make different things of this china clay with the help of water, and we can make a mud. Okay, so a mud can be made with the help of this china clay material, and this is the reason why water can enters into this china clay material, and we can make we can give different shapes to that china clay material. Okay, so this what is the reason? Weak hydrogen bonds, these 3-dimensional layers aluminosilicates are held together by weak hydrogen bonds, and they can be broken, and once they are brokening, the water molecules can entering into that aluminosilicate layers, and we can mold that clay to the different shapes. Another class of aluminosilicates has aluminum 3 plus ions which are sandwiched between these silicate layers. Aluminum 3 plus ions which are get sandwiched between these layers. Okay, so this is the first layer, this is the second layer. Just we are eating a sandwich that is prepared in hotels. Okay, sandwich. Okay, so upper layer of that we can bread, then lower layer of bread, and in between these two layers we have a potato chutney. Okay, in the same way, or we are eating vada pav. Okay, so vada besan vada is taken, and it is get sandwiched between the two coverings of that pav. We call it as a vada pav. So this is the meaning of sandwich. So in the same way, aluminum 3 plus ions are get sandwiched between the aluminosilicate layers. Okay, in between the silicate layers. Okay, so this is one of the type of aluminosilicates. For example, pyrophyllite. The formula is Al2OH2Si4O10. Okay, Al2OH2Si4O10. Another most important example that we are familiar with, it is talc. Talc is nothing but talcum powder that we are using in cosmetic products. Okay, and that talcum powder is used for face. Okay, for the makeup material in talcum powder. That talcum powder is made of these aluminosilicates, and this is nothing but the formula is Mg3OH2Si4O10. So what is the change here? 3 magnesium 2 plus ions. 3 magnesium 2 plus ions are replaced, or they are taking the place of 2 Al3 plus ions. 2 Al3 plus ions. So 2 aluminum 3 plus ions are replaced by 3 magnesium 2 plus ions in the talc material. Okay, and the resulting mineral is called as talc. Okay, so the total resultant charge will be same, 3 into 2 6 plus, 2 into 3 6 plus. Okay, so that's why this is the known as talcum powder or talc. Okay, so what is the structure? It is having regular layers of silicates, and they are neutral in nature. Okay, and they are readily cleaved between this talcum powder, or this talc material is readily cleaved between these layers. Readily cleave means cleavage or breakage can be take place very easily between these layers, and that's why this is the reason why we can feel a slippery feel, why we can why we are feeling a slippery feel with this talcum powder or talc material. Okay, then the next material is muscovite mica. Muscovite mica, the formula is KAl2OH2Si3AlO10. Okay, in this the negatively charged layers are present. Negatively charged layers are present in this muscovite mica. Mica is one of the again material that we are also familiar with, this mica material. Okay, and in this, as the silicate layers are negatively charged, so that's why to compensate that negative charge we have to there is a presence of potassium K plus ion. Potassium K plus ions are present, there lies between these layers, and hence due to the presence of these K plus ions present between these silicate layers, they are hard in feeling. Okay, so they are feeling like a hard material. Okay, so they can also be broken along these layers between within these layers. Okay. So, this is all about the layered or 3-dimensional aluminosilicates. Now, the second type of these aluminosilicates is molecular sieves. Okay. So, what are molecular sieves? Sieves means what? These are the molecular sieves. What is meant by sieves? Sieves means we can say that it is one of the type of a thing or equipment, not equipment, it is one of the thing which is used to filter, means the sieve that we are using to filter the tea. When we are making a tea by adding sugar, tea powder, milk, then ginger, then all these different masalas of that tea, milk, water, etc. for making a tea, and when we use a sieve to filter that tea, okay, liquid tea, and in that sieve the tea powder and that tea leaves, okay, can filter from that sieve, and only liquid tea get filtered through that sieve. Okay. So, this is the use of sieve. The same meaning or same application of that material can be observed, and that is why the name is given molecular sieve. Means these are the materials which are used to filter, which are used to separate the different ions or molecules or atoms or different substances, we can say that. So, that is why these materials or these substances are known as molecular sieves. Okay. They are also known as simply zeolites. Okay. Actually, these are crystalline aluminosilicates. What are molecular sieves? These are crystalline aluminosilicates having open structure, with apertures, open structures with apertures or holes. Apertures means holes. A hole or aperture is present in between these molecular structures, and these are 3-dimensional crystalline structures of aluminosilicates having a open structures with aperture or hole is present in between these molecular structure, and these holes or apertures is of molecular dimensions. Okay. Molecular dimensions means in the range of nanometer, picometer, etc. Okay. Hence, these molecular sieves absorbs only small molecules. These molecular sieves can be, or they are able to absorb only small molecules which are having dimensions smaller than the aperture. Dimensions smaller than the aperture means what? If this is the dimensions of that molecular sieves, so these such type of, let us say only example here, I am giving only focus, I am focusing only on the concept of if the size of that sieves or the holes or apertures present in the molecular sieves is of these dimensions, then only those molecules which are having smaller dimensions, smaller size than these holes or apertures can pass through it. Okay. So, only these molecules can be adsorbed on these molecular sieves. Okay. So, that is why such substances are known as molecular sieves. Now, zeolites. So, zeolites are nothing but molecular sieves, but they can be considered as a subclass of molecular sieves. They can be taken as, or they can be considered as a subclass of molecular sieves. These are aluminosilicates. These are having aluminosilicate framework with cations that are trapped inside the cages. Okay, so cages is there. Cage means a aperture is there, and these aluminosilicates having cations which are generally from the group 1 or group 2 elements. Okay, that is lithium, magnesium, calcium, sodium plus. Okay, these cations are present, and these cations are get trapped inside these cages. Okay, or inside these apertures. These cages are highly regular and of precise size. Highly regular means the arrangement of these cages is just like a crystalline solid material. Okay, so that is why they are highly regular, and the size of that cages is also very precise. Let us see some uses of the zeolites. So, these, as per these properties, these zeolites can be used as ion exchange, can be used in ion exchange chromatography. Okay, means as these are having holes or apertures, means they can be used as a ion exchange in the phenomenon of ion exchange. Okay, so as the cations of group 1 or group 2 elements are present in these molecular sieves or zeolites, these cations can be exchanged with the other cations. Hence, this phenomenon can be used for the water softening processes in detergents. Okay, so that's why these zeolites can be used as a water softeners in detergents. Okay, so means we know that water is get hardened due to the presence of calcium 2 plus and magnesium 2 plus ions present in the water, and such water we call it is a hard water, and that water is unable to form a foam, okay, in contact with the detergent or a soap. Okay, so such water is not useful for the washing or drinking purpose. Okay, and hence they can be converted into a soft water by the presence, by a process known as ion exchange process, and hence this is the application of zeolite molecular sieves, that they can be used as a ion exchange, that is water softeners in detergents. Another application or use is absorption of molecules. Absorption. So, absorption of molecules takes place, and this application, this function is utilized in the separation of gases or in gas chromatography. Then the third one is solid acid. So, the function is, so zeolites can be acting as a solid acid in shape selective alkylation. Shape selective alkylation means only those alkyl groups can be alkylated, or only those molecules can be reacted which are having a particular shape which is matching to that of the cage of that zeolites. So, that is why the word is used, shape selective alkylation and isomerization of aromatics in petroleum and polymer intermediates, Okay. Now, what is mean by soda light cage? So, soda light cage, the cage we are saving, we are discussing here the same cage, but this is the special cage known as soda light cage. So, this cage is truncated octahedron, the truncated octahedron cage. Okay. So, truncated octahedron cage is formed, and that cage is known as soda light cage. How that truncated octahedron cage is formed? When all the vertex of a tetrahedron get sliced, then the surface formed after slicing of all vertex of this octahedron are known as, that cage is known as soda light cage. Okay. The zeolite type A, such zeolites are based on this soda light cage. Okay, means the substances known as zeolite type A substances are having the soda light cages. Then alpha cage. What is meant by alpha cage? When 8 soda light cages, when they are linked together, 8 soda light cages when they are linked in a cubic pattern. So, what is cubic pattern? We know that the structure of cubic pattern. Okay. So, this is the cubic pattern. So, this is the cubic pattern. When and how many corners are there for a cube? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. So, when 8 soda light cages, when they are present at the 8 corners of a simple cube, okay, and they are joined together in a cubic pattern, then the resulting cage, this cage is known as alpha cage. Cage is nothing but a cavity or a hole or a aperture, okay, or a open space between the surrounding structure. Okay, so this cage is known as alpha cage. The open diameter of this alpha cage is having 420 nanometer, okay, and hence the larger molecules with van der Waals diameter greater than 420 nanometer can only cannot enters into in this alpha cage. Okay, when the molecules having their van der Waals diameter greater than 420 nanometer, they do not pass, they do not enters into this alpha cage because their van der Waals diameter is greater than 420 nanometer and the open diameter of this alpha cage is 420 nanometer. Okay, so the size of other the larger molecules is greater than this 420, so that's why they cannot be pass through it or they cannot be enter into it. And this is the way, or this is the basic thing how they can be used as a molecular sieves or they can be used as a zeolites. Okay, so these zeolites can also be used right now. These zeolites are widely used as a catalyst in different reactions of organic as well as inorganic reactions, and hence it has a very tremendous applications in the field of catalysis. So this is all about the aluminosilicates and molecular sieves, that is zeolites. Okay, so in this way we have completed the carbon group elements, that is chapter number 4. Thanks for watching this video. Have a nice day.